Hi again. We are in week 3 officially of our Hurricane Ian evacuation. We evacuated, if you haven't been following our story, we evacuated at 12:30 a.m. the night
before the hurricane.
The night before the hurricane. He found out he graduated with his master's degree the afternoon before, and then we packed up once the tracking came towards our area, which was Sanibel Island, and we went to Georgia for a little while. Thought we would go back, didn't pack any warm clothes, and now we're in Indiana with his family, and we're still safe with our animals. And we just wanted to give an update of what we know about Sanibel Island and its surrounding affected areas. You want to talk about the causeway?
Well, they've got temporary fixes done on the causeway. They've rolled over like 500 electric trucks and different contractors to start the cleanup work. They've filled in all the holes in the islands. Most of the breaches were in the island part of the causeway. And
if you're unfamiliar with the causeway, it's basically a
large bridge that goes to an island, and then another smaller bridge that goes to another island.
It connects Sanibel to Fort Myers.
Right, and then another bridge that goes back to the Sanibel. So all the holes were in the actual little islands. So they've filled in all those, I guess, as best they can, and they're continuing to do that and continue repairs. And so Friday, the 21st, they're going to allow residents to come back on over those temporary fixes as of now, unless that gets delayed. So we are planning on going down maybe a week after that, just to let the traffic and stuff settle down, and then start doing some cleanup and grab some things at the house.
We've seen pictures of, we have not shared them publicly yet because it can be scary when you see pictures of our house. From the front, our house looks good. My don't worry, be happy sign is still
there.
Intact.
The mailbox is still there.
The mailbox is still there. The front looks good. Even decor I had hanging over my front door somehow survived, even though it wasn't hung up very well. But from the side, where our pool is like on the side of our house, and we had like a cage over it. The cage has no screens. We had these giant plants called screw pines, and they are gone. Not surprising.
They were not native plants,
yes.
So they don't tend to fare quite as well.
We still have some palm trees up, coconut palms.
All the palm trees are still up.
The way the wind blew, which was very, very various, but you can definitely see that the wind came from like the back of our house, which is a very big open.
Faces the south.
Yeah, it was a big open space, and it took all of our siding off the side of the house. So if you're unfamiliar, like we have renovated lots of homes, and we've seen homes at their absolute worst. Our last house was a 12-year renovation that we did ourselves. It was a gut remodel. People were scared of that house, but it taught us how not to be scared of an ugly situation when it comes to our home. So we did have 63 inches of water under the home. It's an elevated home, so we know everything under our home was flooded. Working with our flood guy on that. The wind people will get out there soon. FEMA will get out there soon. But basically that siding, you have layer of siding, you have layer of paper,
house wrap.
You want to explain that?
And then a layer of tar paper, and then plywood onto the studs or whatever. So ours is down in some places to the plywood, and in some places it's the paper's still on. Some places the wrap's still on. So it looks worse than it is. It'll be fine that way for a while, for quite some time. It's not going to really, you don't want it sitting like that for years, but it'll be fine for a while. We haven't seen the back of the house or anything else, so we don't know what that looks like, but it's getting there.
Yeah, our roof. You don't see any plywood on our roof where other people, we are very fortunate. We're fortunate to even have a house still standing, because the wind was so bad.
It's very, very heavy wind, 155 miles an hour, so it was almost a Category 5 hurricane.
And our neighbors sent us pictures because they stayed, and it looked just like a whole lake was just
around us.
Yeah, it was, that was the storm surge. So we are working with something called a public adjuster. We did all kinds of research, and his name is Chad Schmitt. He's with Tailored Loss Consultants. This is not an ad at all. We just decided to work with him after he's been very, very good. He's going to go out to the home this week and try to help us with all of our adjusters and help us with this, because we need help. And
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to deal with.
Especially being 1,000 miles away now, it's a lot.
And you are going to go.
Yeah, we are going soon.
On the happy side, we are starting to see some grass grow back, because basically the hurricane, it looks like it killed everything.
Everything was very brown.
Very
from the
brown.
Salt water and mix of regular water and everything else.
It's been described as being Armageddon or a war zone, because it was very lush and green and lots of animals and plant life, and it looks like kind of a bomb went off. And that's not just Sanibel. This is a lot of Fort Myers, a lot of Florida, that southwest region of Florida. It was very hit or miss.
But with some of the pictures lately, we've already seen grass starting to grow back. Some fella already had some bananas growing on his banana tree again. So it's encouraging. We've seen lots of wildlife, iguanas, and
there was an alligator living in the post office for a while.
That was fun. That sounds fun.
They couldn't finish their inspection because the
alligator was in there.
Yeah. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we are so thankful. Continued prayers are needed, not just for us, but there were people that lost their lives and many animals that lost their lives, and that's what breaks our heart. But our hearts have been warmed by people telling us about their prayers, their thoughts. Until you've been through something like this and seen it, it's hard to wrap your brain around, but we are so thankful for the people that have tried to lend an understanding ear.
Yes.
It's been very helpful. So we're going to do weekly updates, and again, no electricity is on the island. There's no
sewers still.
Water for emergency purposes only.
They're working on water.
For cleaning purposes,
it would be boiled water, and they don't want you to flush your toilets with it or anything like that. So it would be very rudimentary, I guess, water service.
People keep asking us, are you going to go back? Yes, we're going to go back. We're still with our animals. If you have an animal or a dog, they're asking you to have it leptospirosis vaccine, which we have
There's
ours.
There's still a lot of standing water around.
Yeah, and that's a real thing. I saw it on the Animal Planet. It can really hurt your animals. So we're still keeping our animals safe here in Indiana, and there's joy around the corner. We know that there is.
We'll get back soon.
It's a house. There are people's homes, but and of course we get upset some days, and we see people's stories, and my heart hurts so much. But I don't want to cry again, because I know that there's joy on the other side of everything.
We'll get back home soon, and we were lucky that our house seems to be in fairly decent shape as far as we know, and so we're getting there.
Yay. We'll do another update every week until this is our road back to Sanibel. So thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.